Hey guys, it's your boy Zayat back for a brand new video, and today we have got what if Deku had rare abilities, or maybe it was the reincarnation, I don't really know yet, of Meliodas. But this video has a few terms to it. The sub race to 500 against Toby Fee. He's at 400, and by like 228, 227. You know how bad that is? Yeah, because he blew up like in 2 days from one video. So let's make this one blow up. For me, boys. For me. Please. Please, I can't lose this. I can't. But I'm going to have to change my name to Yoit. Anyways, the second thing is, me, Toby Fee, and Justo M made a deal. Whoever gets the least amount of views on this video, on their video that we're all posting on Friday. Well, actually, me and Toby post on Friday, and then Justo posts on Saturday. Within like a month, we'll whoever gets the least will have to make a video in the language they speak. Toby speaks Spanish or Mexican, I don't know. Mexican is Spanish, my bad, y'all. And Justo speaks Greek, I speak Yoruba. So yeah, let's actually watch this one. So this intro is like over a minute and I don't like doing stuff like that. So get your popcorn, get your chicken, get your pizza, get your Diet Coke. And for you Mexicans, get your tacos, and let's get straight into this.
She like the bar with the big old chains, ride around town in the big old range. I knew it when I rock big old chains, not a little nigga doing big old things. Would you look at that? I came back for just to get to you, like you asked for. Minute thing in them chains too fat for.
Well, like all of our stories, Izuku is born, but this time into a family of villains, and a pretty prominent one at that. Around the age of 4, Izuku's quirk awakens, and compared to his brothers, it's weak as fuck. His quirk is counter, but it's very weak. But his father reckons it'll become stronger over time. Well, bombshell, it doesn't. For years, Izuku watches his family torment people and destroy lives, and Izuku, he acts. He pretends to love it, but on the inside, he despises it with a passion. Instead, he looks up to the heroes. 5 years later, Izuku is 9, and his father's pissed his quirk is still weak as fuck. So, he said that Izuku isn't worth having around anymore. And you know where he takes Deku? To an auction house. And can you guess who bought him? Hold on. This one's really shocking, I know. And then I'm going a bit fast, but it's a short film. And, we're doing that race, and I don't really want to record a video in my own language. That's Yoruba, by the way. So, can you guess who bought him? All for one. And Izuku's in a cage backstage, and he stares back at his family, who are just laughing. And all he can do is look back, knowing he was never wanted. Eventually, being dragged to a back room where Kurogiri portaled him, and all for one away. Once at the League of Villains base, Izuku starts looking around, trying his best to find an escape route. Although he hates the villain life his family led, it came with some good life lessons, and one was always scan the area. But before he can continue, all for one places a hand over that kid's eyes so he can't see, and then asks Izuku, "Do you know why I brought you, child?" And Izuku stays quiet. I see you was raised right to pay attention to your elders. All for one continued, "I brought you, for your quirk is more than just counter. Not only does it counter physical properties, it counters the gene all humans have that makes us weak. The gene that makes it hard for a soul to hold multiple quirks. But your counter, you can counter that gene itself, a perfected quirk user." And you may be wondering, how does All for One know this? It's because a family of villains can't go to a normal quirk doctor, so they went to Dr. Garaki. And well, he knows about Deku's quirk and told All for One. All for One manipulated some strings, so Izuku's quirk never got stronger over time. And yeah. And he also manipulated strings, so eventually Izuku would be up for auction. But then, suddenly, All for One uses a sleep quirk on the young Midoriya to make him pass out. When he wakes up, he's in the test tube and sees All for One and the doctor watching him. He tries to move but is unable. Then he sees pipes connected to his back, flowing some purple liquid in. The doctor says to All For One, Quirk 4 added. Clones. Quirk 5, prepare initiation. Hellblaze. And Izuku passes out again. Darkness. Then pain. Not surface pain. Soul-leveling pain. Like something ancient is being carved into him. He wakes up screaming. Still in a test tube. Purple liquid now black. The doctor smiling. Additional sequences stabilizing. The pipes inject more. Quirk 6, full counter. Quirk 7, Hellblaze amplification. Quirk 8, darkness manipulation. Quirk 9, demon mark transformation. Quirk 10, regeneration. Quirk 11, physical augmentation. Quirk 12, assault mode. Quirk 13, protocol locked. Izuku's eyes widen, black veins spread across his arms. A dark sigil forms on his forehead, then vanishes. His heartbeat stabilizes, then slows, then becomes unnaturally calm. All For One steps closer. You are no longer a vessel. You are a king. A demon king in progress. Izuku stares through the glass, and for the first time, his aura leaks not flames. Darkness. Thick, crushing, suffocating, to the point the glass breaks. Weeks later, Izuku begins training. He learns each ability one by one. Darkness. He can create a black matter from nothing, solidify it, shape it into blades and more, and launch it as projectiles to flood the entire room. It eats light and obeys emotion. This is the point where I'm going to be talking a lot about what Meliodas' abilities are. Well, not a lot. I'm a fast speaker, as you can probably tell, because I'm speaking really fast right now, and I don't know why. Anyways, full counter. Unlike his original counter, this one reflects energy-based attack and doubles them. Fire, explosions, shockwaves, quirk blasts, all returned harder. But this does suppress his normal counter, meaning that is kinda gone. Not really, but... Hellblaze, it's black flames that burn for eternity. They can ignore regeneration, they cling to souls, and they cannot be extinguished by normal means. Even a Nomu would struggle. Regeneration, I'm not explaining that. Physical, he just gets way better physical stats. Demon mark, under stress. A black symbol spreads across his forehead. Power multipliers, aura becomes suffocating, killing intent becomes tangible, even grown villains freeze. Yeah, sorry, that's my bad. Assault mode, first time triggered. He triggered it for the first time accidentally. Anomu crushes his ribcage and something snaps within Izuku. Darkness erupts outwards like an explosion. His hair shifts slightly darker, eyes lose softness. He moves once, Nomu split in half. Not from flames, from raw force. All For One watches carefully. Fascinating. Then there's his clones. They're not weak copies, they're perfect physical replicas with the same ability, same power, but they have a really small duration of time they can be active. And then years pass. Izuku masters suppression. He learns to shrink his presence, hide the darkness, smile soft, act harmless. All For One shapes him into the perfect infiltrator. Now it's time for, a bit later. So, I kinda didn't fully script this, because I was kind of in a rush, thanks to a fella called Toby Big Thighs. So, we're kinda just gonna have to go with the flow. So, but I script later on. So, eventually it's time, I think, Izuku, how old is Izuku when he goes away? I think 14, 15. So Izuku's 14, and All For One tells him, you will attend Yue. You will become their symbol of hope. And when I command it, you shall shatter it. Izuku bows. Yes, master. All For One. But inside, his thoughts are different now. Because over the years, he realizes something All For One didn't save him. He just bought him. Just like his family. Well, kinda did. So now it's time for the actual entrance exam. And yes, I kinda had bullet points, but that's not really a script for that part. So Izuku stands at the gates, suppressing everything. His darkness is sealed, demon mark dormant, assault mode is locked, Hellblaze buried, and clones are dismissed. He uses only enhanced physical strength and base and his full counter. The robot's charge, he moves like a blur. One punch, robot caves in. One kick, metal crumples. A small explosion hits him, full counter almost triggers, but he suppresses it a bit, making it like a 50% counter. Instead, he manually... so it was controlled, clean, and it wasn't villain-like. He scores high, but not suspiciously high. He's put into Class 1A. He ran away from the 0 pointer not to draw attention to himself. He's put into Class 1A. And eventually he walks in. He kind of just sticks to himself. Kind of vibes with Tokuyami a bit. And as it's time for the quirk apprehension test, Aizawa watches him closely. And Izuku deliberately underperforms. Not weak, but not monstrous either. For the grip he was impressive. For the sprint he was near the top. And for the ball throw, he was strong but not record-breaking, not something to write home about. Like a predator pretending to be prey, kind of. For the battle trial, the 2v2, the heroes vs villains, Bakugo goes all out from the start. He doesn't know Izuku, so there's no reason for hate there. But he still wants to be the best, like no one ever was. To catch them is my real test, to train them is my cause. Pokemon! Fight Pokemon! Huh? So, did I say something in between there? Don't know what you're talking about. So, there's one massive blast point. What was I going to say? Yeah, so for that, Izuku allows one of Bakugo's explosions to hit, and then, boom! Smoke clears. He's bleeding slightly. Inside his body, he's regenerating. But then, full counter activates. The explosion is sent back at Bakugo, but doubled. Bakugo gets blown back violently. Izuku pins him calmly. He relied too much on rage. Bakugo feels it. That pressure, that presence. For a split second, the demon mark flickers under Izuku's hair. And now, it's time for the USJ. Wow, this is a really short film, isn't it, y'all? Should I start speaking slower? I don't know. AF all for one warned him. Observe, do not reveal yourself, child. The villains walk in. Students scattered, Nomu appears. Izuku analyzes instantly. Shock absorption, regeneration, stacked quirks. Nomu charges at All Might. Izuku steps in once, takes a full punch to the chest. His ribs shatter, but regeneration immediately occurs. And then, boom! Full counter energy. This was used to gain the trust of All Might. The shock hits the Nomu internally, and its regeneration stutters. All Might lands a cleaner smash, and nobody notices except All for One, watching, smiling. Then, it's time for the UA Sports Festival. For the race, Izuku doesn't really do anything too special, but he has enhanced speed, so he still does decent. He teams up with Tokuyami again, and Shinso. He just becomes the emo group, okay? Tokuyami, him, Shinso. So, against Todoroki, Todoroki summons an ice tsunami. Shinso's no problem. He can't provoke Izuku. So, Todoroki summons an ice tsunami, but just for a millisecond. Izuku summons Hellblaze, and the black fire melts the ice instantly. The crowd assumes it was just extreme heat from Todoroki, but Todoroki feels something worse. That fire was unnatural. Izuku wins that just narrowly. And for the fight against Bakugo, he kind of just doesn't take it seriously at all and just gives Bakugo the win. After the sports festival, it's time for Class 1A to choose their hero names. Izuku chooses the name the Dragon Hero, Wrath Meliodas. But then it's time for I forgot what it is. It's like internships. And Izuku goes with just some random guy who has let's just say he has some form of speed quirk. Because it doesn't really matter. They're just in Hosu. And eventually it comes down to the Stain arc, because that's what I wanted to get to. And Stain cuts him. Cuts Izuku, and blood is drawn. And he licks the blood. And the paralysis activates. Izuku falls, but his counter adapts. It doesn't erase the blood paralysis put on him, but it reduces the effect. He forces movement. He uses his darkness to form a blade in his arm. He calls it his sacred treasure. And it's not visible to others, but it's compressed. It clashes with Stain, and Stain is confused what is fighting against his sword. Full counter reflects Stain's killing intent-driven strikes. Stain senses it. You walk the line between hero and monster. Izuku says nothing in response. He just does a final hit with darkness to end Stain. But those words, Stain's dead, they stuck with him. Now it's time for the final exams. And under All for One's order, he must hold back. All Might's attacks at serious level, they're dangerous. Izuku lets himself get hit. Bones crack, regeneration occurs. He channels counter into the ground. His full counter into the ground. Shatters infrastructure, creates an escape route, and gets Bakugo to safety when All Might nearly had him. All Might notices again. That boy absorbs pain like he used to be punished. And, well, they do beat All Might. And now it's time for the voice training camp. Yay! All for One instructs him not to interfere with Bakugo's capture. And that order burns. Muscular attacks Kota, but is this the moment Izuku snaps. His demon mark activates fully. The black sigil spreading. Hellblaze erupts violently. Darkness floods the area. Muscular's enhanced fibers burn from the inside. Every amplified strike he throws, full counter sends it back doubled. Izuku enters partial assault mode. Speed skyrockets, and for one final strike, Muscular collapses, nearly dead. Izuku stands shaking. He almost enjoyed that, and that's what scared him. Then, for Kamino Ward, it's All Might vs. All for One. Izuku watches All for One, glances at Izuku mid-fight saying, "You are my..." Well, he's using telepathy because he has a telepathy quirk, telling Izuku, "You are my masterpiece." And for the first time, Izuku feels disgust instead of obedience. Like, he's never liked All for One, but he was always obedient to him. And then All Might wins. All for One still escapes, but before he escapes, he tells Izuku, "You will continue my legacy, what I started." Then for the provisional license, I'm going to skip over this quickly, but Izuku plays the perfect hero. Anyways, for this is, we got Overhaul arc. He goes with Mirio again, and this is the breaking point for Izuku. First time Izuku sees Eri, she's small, terrified, and controlled. A flash of memory, him in a cage, an auction house, the laughter. Overhaul's experiments on her, just like Dr. Gavaki did to him. During the raid, Overhaul impales him. Regeneration keeps him alive, but Hellblaze ignites uncontrollably. His demon mark spreads. Assault mode nearly triggers fully. Darkness fills the underground base. Overhaul is terrified. Izuku stops himself, because if he loses control, he becomes exactly what All for One shaped him to be. They save Eri, but that night Izuku can't sleep. He realizes he's still someone's weapon. Just, he has now a larger cage. After the Overhaul arc, Izuku's on the rooftop. It's late at night, the wind is cold. All Might is standing there alone, and then Izuku steps forward. "I know about One for All, silence, and I also know about All for One." All Might turns, shocked. Izuku tells him everything. The auction, the Gavaki experiments, the tubes, the added quirks, the demon powers, the manipulation, the spying, every single report he has ever sent back to All for One. There's no crying, it's just the truth. I was built to destroy you, All Might. Long silence. All Might's voice cracks. "You were a child!" Izuku looks at the city lights. "Am I not anymore?" Then he says, "But I may be a child, but I know the difference between right and wrong. I want to betray him." He explains the base layouts, the hidden facilities, the security cycles, the blind warp points. "I can get us inside. I can make him believe I'm still loyal. All Might studies him. You want to be a triple agent? Izuku nods. For the first time in my life, I want to be the one to choose. I want to be the one to decide how I win, how my future goes, how I live. The wind howls. All Might places a hand on his shoulder. Then, let's do this together. And now, it's time for what is our second to last arc. Izuku tells All Might the plan, and the UA staff brought in quietly Nezu, Aizawa, and a few trusted pros like Hawks and Endeavor. No students involved, this is surgical. Izuku contacts All for One through a secured channel. He tells him, I request an audience, Sensei. The base is deep underground facility. Not the one in Kamino, this is an older one, darker. The original one Izuku used to be at when he was first brought. Izuku walks alone, suppressing his aura completely. Demon powers sealed. All for One waits at the center. Report. Izuku kneels calm. Sensei. UA security rotations. Hero patrol routes. All Might's weekend schedule. He tells All for One all of this, and it's all true. Carefully selected truths, to be specific. All for One senses no deception because Izuku didn't tell a single lie. But then, All for One steps closer. You have grown distant, boy. Pressure fills the room, killing intent heavy. Izuku doesn't flinch. He then responds to All for One. I am made to surpass you, Sensei. I am focusing on growing stronger. I am refining control. Then silence, then All for One laughs. Good. He gestures to a massive changer. Inside it, a circular mechanism covered in seals. That, All for One says, is your final evolution. Quirk 13. True magic release. A power beyond powers. Pure demonic energy unbound. But it requires a catalyst. Once you are ready, I will press this button, and it will override your will. It will erase your restraint. You will become destruction's incarnate. Izuku's stomach tightens. So, this was always his true leash. Then, the signal occurs. While kneeling, Izuku suddenly creates a microscopic clone of himself. The clone dissolves into darkness, slips through ventilation, reaches out a perimeter, taps the prearranged beacon, and the signal is sent. The heroes move. The alarms blare. Explosions rock the facility. Aizawa racing. Endeavor burning through corridors. All Might leading the charge. All for One doesn't look surprised though. So you choose the heroes. Izuku stands. Yes. His demon mark activates. Darkness floods the chamber. Hellblaze ignites around his arms. Assault mode humming under the surface. He's not wasting any time. But then, All for One clicks the remote. Then awaken, brat, he says. The click, then silence. Then Izuku screams, ah! Black sigils spread across his entire body. Darkness erupts violently. The chamber shatters. True magic release activates. Aura becomes tangible pressure. His eyes glow deep crimson. Power multiplies beyond assault mode. Energy no longer behaves like a quirk. It distorts space. Cracks form in the air. Heroes feel it from floors away. Even All Might pauses. Midoriya? All for One smiles. Now you are mine. True magic release attempts to override Izuku's mind fully. Rage, destruction, instincts, but All for One miscalculated one thing. This destruction destroyed his stronger full counter, but this allowed counter to return to its true strength. Izuku's original quirk activates. Not physical, not energy, conceptual. He counters the override command itself. The gene limiter gone, the leash broken, true magic stabilizes under his control. Izuku vanishes, then reappears behind All For One. 2 darkness blades form. All For One fires multiple stolen quirks at Izuku. Energy blasts, shockwaves, air cannons from fingers. Full counter reflects on all doubled, tripled, quadrupled under true magic amplification, and shoots them back at All For One. Hellblazing Gold Fizz, All For One. Regeneration struggles. Assault mode fully activates. One more final strike. Darkness-coated punch, enhanced by true magic. Izuku yells, "My wrath, designed, dragonic, Meliodas, smash!" It was inspired by All Might. Actually, Meliodas, Leonis, smash. Just because you have to have like a place in there. And it shatters All For One's defensive layers. All For One crashes through reinforced walls. The heroes flood in. All For One tries to stand. Izuku steps forwards. Aura suffocated. "You bought me! You built me! But you don't own me." He suppresses his true magic manually. The aura retracts, and the All For One is restrained with quirk nullification cuffs, and is taken into custody. And this time, it's permanent. Only a few know the truth that happened that day. And All Might approaches Izuku. "You chose correctly. You chose who to stand by." And the darkness flickering faintly reminds Izuku that, for the first time, he chose for himself. Now, if you remember, I did say that that was the second to last arc, because we have one more. A few weeks after All For One's imprisonment, Izuku is in the UA records room, not as a student, as an informant. He hands Nezu a file, names, locations, black market routes, auction houses, his family's entire operation. He memorized everything back when he was only 6. Pro-heroes gather. Aizawa, Endeavor, Hawks. No students, this is personal, but professional? He tells them, "I want to be on the raid," is what Izuku says directly. Aizawa studies him. "This isn't revenge?" Izuku answers, without hesitation, "No, it's accountability." And it was approved. Hidden outside the city, reinforced, armed guards, same place he grew up, same gates, different Izuku. The mansion he was raised in. Heroes breach cleanly. No chaos, no unnecessary destruction. Izuku moves with surgical precision. Guards rush him. He disables them with minimal force, precise strikes, controlled counters, no Hellblaze. His older brother attacks from behind, Zelgis. But Izuku, yes, he has another type of counter quirk. And, well, it also has a bit of explosion to it. Izuku doesn't dodge, he just reflects it with full counter, and his brother crashes into a wall, unconscious. Then, the confrontation. His father steps forward. "You were always weak," he says. "You were a weakling!" Izuku feels the old stench, the auction house, the laughter, the cage. His demon mark threatens to surface, but he suppresses it instantly. "I was never weak." His father attacks, full power. Izuku uses his standard counter. He redirects the force into the ground. The floor fractures. He closes distance, pins him with outrage. "You sold your son! Do you not understand that?" Silence. Sirens echo outside. "You don't get to define me anymore, father." The quirk suppression cuffs lock onto his dad's wrists. His family is arrested. The media calls it a major villain ring takedown. They don't know the personal layer this has to Izuku. Izuku stands outside the mansion, watching it be sealed. No smiles, no tears, just stillness. All Might approaches. "Do you feel better?" Izuku thinks for a moment. "I feel complete." The auction house records burned legally, victims, compensation, survivors protected. Izuku walks away from his childhood home, not in darkness, in daylight, and for the first time, he doesn't need to look back. Well, I hope you all really enjoyed that one. It's a bit short, I think. It might be in like the 20 minutes, but it is a short film. Remember, you actually have to watch this one, like this one, sub to this one, because I'm losing the sub race badly. And if I don't get more views than Toby, who just skyrocketed, And Justo, who's like already really popular, I have to record a video in Yoruba, and you guys don't know what video that's gonna be. It could be my best video ever. So good job. What else can I say? Yeah, I think that's actually all it. Peace, love you all, praise the Lord.
She like the boy with the big old chains, ride around town in the big old range. I knew it when I rock big old chains, not a little nigga doing big old things. What you looked at? I came back for just to get to you, like you asked for. Man, that thing in them jeans too fat for.